Welcome back, everyone. Today's tale is terrifying and comes from the realm of medical mysteries, where modern science meets the inexplicable. It's the story of a man who woke up in a body bag in a morgue. It's not a scene from a horror movie, but a horrifying reality that happened. Let's begin. On an ordinary night in 2008, a 32-year-old man in Texas collapsed in his home. His girlfriend called 911. When paramedics arrived, they found him unconscious, not breathing, and with no pulse. Despite their best efforts, including 30 minutes of CPR, he didn't respond. At 3:47 a.m., the time of death was officially recorded. The man's body was then placed in a black vinyl bag, zipped up, tagged, and transported to the morgue, like so many others. He was placed on a cold metal tray inside a morgue refrigeration unit. The temperature was kept just above freezing. It was here in the silent, dimly lit chamber that something extraordinary, some might say impossible, was about to occur. Inside the freezer, the man's body began to react. Initially, it was just a faint twitch, which the morgue attendant assumed was a muscle reflex. However, the twitch soon developed into a tremble, then into noticeable breathing. Startled by this sudden movement, the attendant quickly checked the man's vital signs. To his astonishment, he found a pulse. Alarmed by this unexpected development, he immediately called the attending pathologist. The news of the living dead spread, turning the quiet night into a flurry of activity. Soon, the man was rushed out of the freezer, the breathing tube was removed, and the man gasping for air was transferred to a hospital. The doctors were baffled. They had no explanation for this turn of events. How could someone who had been declared dead and kept in a freezer for hours be alive? Was this a miracle, a medical marvel, or something else entirely? As the news of this incredible event spread, people from all over came forward with their theories. Some claimed it was divine intervention, a second chance at life. Others spoke of it as a medical mystery, a puzzle without a solution. The case became a local sensation. In the face of such bewildering circumstances, the medical community sprang into action. Tests were conducted, examinations were performed, and specialists were consulted. All of them were eager to unravel this enigma. What they discovered was nothing short of astonishing. Despite being technically deceased for hours, the man showed no signs of brain damage. His organs, especially his heart, exhibited an astonishing capacity to function after being deprived of oxygen for an extended period. But how did this man survive inside a body bag in a freezer? Experts believe that a combination of factors might have led to this extraordinary event. One such factor was the method of preserving his body. While traditional methods include embalming, which involves removing internal organs and replacing them with chemicals, the man's case involved a simpler process of placing him in a sealed bag and refrigerating him. This approach, while common, might have inadvertently preserved his body better than if embalming procedures had been followed. Another contributing factor was the temperature at which the man was kept, although the morgue kept the body in a refrigeration unit set just above freezing. This temperature is still significantly lower than the normal range of human body temperature. This low temperature may have slowed down the body's metabolic processes, potentially allowing for a more prolonged survival. However, the most intriguing aspect of this case is the man's mental state. Despite being trapped in a body bag, unable to see or move, he managed to keep calm. This emotional resilience may have played a pivotal role in his survival. Now, you might wonder, why did he stay so calm when he woke up inside a body bag? Well, his mind likely went into survival mode. When we face life-threatening situations, our bodies often react in ways we don't expect. Sometimes fear can paralyze us, but other times it can trigger an intense drive to survive. In this case, the man's instinct to survive may have kicked in, helping him to think clearly and take actions that ultimately saved his life. This includes the actions he took after he realized he was alive. Despite the panic he must have felt, he didn't thrash around wildly. Instead, he began to kick the sides of the bag, hoping someone would notice. This controlled and focused action demonstrated an incredible level of self-awareness and determination. Moreover, his decision to wait for help instead of trying to escape on his own was a wise one. Had he panicked and started tearing at the bag, he could have easily injured himself. Instead, he waited patiently, conserving his energy and allowing fate to take its course. So the next time you find yourself in a seemingly hopeless situation, Remember the man who woke up in a body bag. Let his story be a reminder that the human body and mind are capable of extraordinary feats when pushed to their limits. This case remains a fascinating topic of discussion among medical experts and a source of wonder for many.
I liked it.
It highlights the complexities of human physiology and the indomitable spirit of survival. The year is 2014, and a Spanish hospital is preparing for an autopsy. They have a dead body on their hands, a man who died of a heart attack at just 58 years old. The doctors pronounced him dead and his family was notified. They even started the process of preserving the corpse. But then something bizarre happened. When the technician went to retrieve the body from the morgue, he found that it wasn't there. At first, he thought maybe someone else had taken the body, but that was impossible. So he checked the freezer where they kept the corpses, and that's when he saw him, the dead man from earlier, sitting up inside the freezer. Shocked, he screamed for help. Now, you might think that this is the plot of a horror movie, but this actually happened in real life. This man was technically already dead. His heart had already stopped beating and his brain had already shut down. So what exactly was he doing in the freezer and how did he get there in the first place? Let's find out. An autopsy was performed and the man was placed in a body bag and then put into a morgue freezer. After an hour, the morgue technician came back for another body. As he opened the freezer, he heard a thud from inside the bag, then movement. The technician froze, in fear. He'd never seen this in his 20 years of working in the morgue. He opened the bag and the man inside sat up. He was pale, his skin was cold, and he was clearly confused. The technician screamed for help, and soon doctors were at the scene. They examined the man and determined that he was indeed alive. So here's what happened. Earlier, when the doctors were trying to resuscitate the man, they used a special machine to try to restart his heart. But after 40 minutes, they gave up. They sent the man's body to the morgue without checking one last time to see if he was really dead. But apparently he wasn't. You see, when someone is technically dead but still has signs of life, they are said to be in a state of clinical death. In this state, the heart stops beating, but the body can still be revived if treated quickly enough. This is exactly what happened with the man in the freezer. But how did he get up? Well, medical experts say that although the man was technically dead, his muscles were still reacting instinctively. His body must have contracted in an effort to preserve heat, causing him to sit up in the freezer. But that doesn't explain why he was in the freezer in the first place. Well, his family had decided to donate his organs, so his body was kept on ice until the operation. But this was after the doctors had already tried to resuscitate him. So why didn't they check one last time? Well, it's unclear. Maybe they were just tired, or maybe they assumed that if the family wanted to donate his organs, then he was definitely dead. Whatever the reason, they made a big mistake. This extremely rare phenomenon is known as Lazarus syndrome, named after Jesus Christ, who was brought back to life by God after being dead for 3 days. It is almost unheard of for a human to survive after their heart has stopped beating for so long. But it has happened before. In 2018, a similar case occurred in Italy. A 78-year-old woman was pronounced dead and sent to the morgue. But after 7 hours, she was found breathing heavily inside the body bag. She was eventually able to make a full recovery. These cases are so rare that scientists don't really know what causes them. Some say it could be genetic, while others say it could be environmental. But whatever the cause, these people are extremely lucky to be alive. As for the man from our story, he only suffered from mild frostbite and was otherwise unharmed. He was able to make a full recovery and was discharged from the hospital a few days later. Looking back, he said, "It felt like a dream, a nightmare, where you're screaming but nobody hears you." After this incident, the man sued the hospital for negligence, claiming that they had caused him emotional distress by accidentally burying him alive. But he also said, "I was given a second chance. I'm not wasting it." Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Would you like to be kept up to date with our latest videos? So don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content. See you next time.